Are you terrified by objections? Then this is one for you. In today's Throwback Thursday, I'm going to be talking all about why you should love objections and why they are a super good thing, as well as how to handle them and turn those no's into yeses. So find out from myself and Pirate Pete why you should love those objections. I just think that objection handling is something that people get really scared off by. So that's what I want to talk about. So I'm going to set Pirate Pete, my co-host, newly promoted. There we go. He's got 10 minutes on the clock and off we go. Right. So yeah, great topic. Thank you. Right. So objections. The first thing is, I think you should be delighted when you get an objection because hey, waving back. He's waving back. First thing is, you should be delighted when you get an objection because if you get an objection, what that actually means is that you're talking to someone about your product. So first off the blocks, you're actually in a sales conversation. Well done. The second thing is that if you've got to the point where someone's giving you an objection, that means that you've actually presented your product as well. So you've given them something to object to, which might seem a bit crazy, but actually it means that you've got a certain way through the sales process. So now you're at that point and people are offering you an objection. What I love about objections is that actually what they're doing is giving you an opportunity to respond to those objections. And the best thing about that is it gives you an opportunity to talk about your product or service more and all over again. So it means you can reassure them around the points that they're bringing up. Because quite often when people raise an objection, it's not really a no. We just hear a no. And we hear a no because I think we're conditioned to that whole thing. If someone says no, we have to go, oh no, that's a really bad thing. They mustn't want it, run away. But we don't do it in real life. Yeah, and Tiana, it does. It opens a conversation. An objection opens a conversation to start to talk about things that your prospect or customer is nervous about. And that's really good because you know what you don't want to do is get down the line and actually get to the point where you're actually setting up a deal with someone who still has reservations that you don't know about. So it's important that you welcome objections. You want to hear your prospect or customer's concerns. So once they actually start to give you an objection, how is it that you know if it's really a no or if it's actually a yes in disguise? Well, the first thing is you can quite often tell by the way that they present it. You can tell by someone's body language, their tone of voice, as to whether it really is a no, go away, or if actually it's a no, let's talk about it some more. So the first thing is you really need to look at what's going on with the whole body. Look at their body, listen to their tone of voice. Don't just hear the words that are coming through there. So that's the first top tip because you will know when someone is saying no, go away because it will be written all over them. There you go, hear it, you're going to be able to see it. So that's the first thing. So if you haven't got that, that means the game is still afoot. And actually, you're still talking. You're still having a conversation. And there's potentially still a sale at the end of it. And I think that this is where we need to start to listen to what those objections are. Now, we can talk about objection handling, but the first thing I want to talk about is what your prospect's potentially saying to you. Because sometimes what's actually happening is that they are telling you what's wrong. And we're not always hearing it. So if they say to you, I can't afford it or it's too expensive, quite often what they're actually saying there is, I really want this, do me a deal. Do me a deal. Talk to me about this. So that could be the first one. Now, if someone does come up with that objection for you, the very first thing you need to do is start to explore that. You need to say, well, why is it that you think that it's too expensive? Or what is it about that makes you feel that you can't afford it? What can we do about that? Hi there. Archie. Hi, Archie. So what is it that makes you feel like that? What is it you're comparing it to? But the key thing is actually it's not a no. Let's take another example. They might say, look, I haven't got time to deal with this now. What they're actually saying is, look, I haven't got time. What can you do to help me? How can you actually resolve that issue? What can you do to support me in that? So they're asking you for help quite often. So quite often what they're actually giving you is an additional sales opportunity where maybe you could offer a fully managed solution or a slightly different product or service which would require a lower time input from them. Another thing that they might say is well, actually, we're just going to stick with what we've got at the moment. You know what that is? They're scared. They're scared of change. What's it actually going to mean? Hi, Roscoe. What's it actually going to mean? What's it going to mean for them? What is this change going to mean? They're scared. And quite often that running back to the status quo will happen right at the very end of a sales process, when what you're actually talking about is the implementation of the product or service. That's the point at which they sort of think, oh, hang on a minute. There's going to be loads of time. It's going to be a big change. It's going to be upheaval. Oh, actually, I'm really concerned about that. Oh, Roscoe, that wasn't very nice. Oh, okay. So there we go. Fantastic. So here we go. So that's the next thing there. Now, the other thing that you might hear is you might hear a competitor objection. Sometimes people come up with a competitor, and that might be for a financial reason, or it might alternatively, oh, I'll let you off. It might alternatively be because of one of those things where what they actually want you to do is fight for the deal. How much do you want to work with that person? And if they're bringing up a competitor objection, you really need to decide, look, do I want this client? Because if I want this client, then I need to go into bat for that. I need to start to have a conversation about why they wouldn't come with me. Now, you know what? It might be you're not the best fit, and that's always a possibility. But equally, what they might be interested to find out is, how much do you want to work with them? Yeah, every no gets us closer to a yes. The thing is with objections is we hear them every single day in real life. In real life, we're constantly dealing with objections from our partner, from our children, from our friends, from our relations. Constantly hearing objections. Oh no, I don't want to do that because, oh, do we have to? I'd much rather do A, B, C. You know what? They're objections. That's all it is. They're objections. The difference is, outside of a business context, we're prepared to challenge them. So we're prepared to say, well, why do you not want to do that? Oh, I thought you did want to do that from what you said, yesterday. Well, if you don't want to do that, could we do this instead? You start to compromise. You start to look at what you can do instead. So all of these objections are just part of that sales process, but they're actually also part of human interaction. They're just part of our day-to-day conversation. And I think that conversation, sometimes we get lost in the whole thing. We're so busy thinking about it being a sales process or a thing that we're doing to sell, that actually we get to the point where we can't actually behave like that anymore. We think, oh no, you couldn't say that. They've said no, I must run away. So quite often what we're actually hearing is objections are actually yeses. It's just the way in which they're presenting them. Hi, Simon. It's just actually the way in which they're being presented. Well, they might be concerns that our client has, and they're perfectly valid. The brilliant thing is that because we're human beings and in a conversation, we can start to challenge that. So if they say, look, I just don't think I've got, I don't think I've got the time for this right now. Great. Well, that allows you to ask the question and say, okay, what makes you say that? What would reduce your time input? What can I do to support you in that? So welcome objections. They're a brilliant step on the way to selling. Remember, a no is not a no. The thing you need to watch for to check if it is a no is people's body, their face, their tone of voice, and listen to the objections that they're raising with you, because you know what? They're genuine and they're sharing their view of the world with you, which actually is really, really helpful, because once you understand someone's view of the world, you can adjust your own mindset to actually work with them, and it's actually really beneficial for you moving forward with that relationship. It's a great thing by Paul McGee. He does the whole beach ball thing. So it's two guys, they're throwing a beach ball to one side. If they call security, is that a no? Yeah, that's a no. Don't let it ever get that far. Don't ever let it get that far. So there's two guys and they're throwing a beach ball between themselves. And the guy on this side says, what colour's the ball? And he says it's red, white, red. The guy at this side says it's white, red, white. Actually, they're both right. It's just their view of the beach ball. And that's one of the things that objections gives us. It gives us an insight into our customer, our prospects world, what their concerns are, what's holding them back. And actually, a great question sometimes when you're in a sales conversation to try and keep things moving, or if you feel that things have stalled, is actually to say, is this actually something that you want to do? Yeah. What's stopping you from going ahead with this? And the objection you get at that point is quite often the truest, most valid objection. And you can then resolve it. And you know what? Sometimes you'll respond and answer that objection and people still won't be happy. You're not going to please all the people all of the time. And sometimes it is one of those things that you've got to start to decide what kind of no it is. If they're not happy, there's the hard no that we've already discussed, which hopefully doesn't involve security, but it's a hard no. You know, in that case, you need to get out of there. Keep your relationship. That's Pete telling us our time's up. Okay, right. So we've got a hard no. We've also got a no, not now. The time isn't right. Pirate Pete, he's gone again, yeah. And the third thing is that other type of objections that we just heard, which are actually the yeses in disguise. So my top tips are respond when people have an objection and actually welcome those objections, because that's part of having a human conversation. We're all human beings. The second thing is be prepared to question and find out more. You know, if someone says to me, oh, I haven't got the time, I'm like, okay, well, why not? You know, tell me more about that. Because I'm genuinely interested. So you need to show that you're genuinely interested for your own benefit as well as theirs. And I think the other thing is just really be prepared that if it does come to the point that you can't overcome that objection, then actually you might need to walk away. But you know, if you walk away, win the war, lose the battle. So what that means is maintain the relationship. So for example, even if they go to one of your competitors, that doesn't mean you shouldn't sustain that relationship. I've had customers who've gone and worked with someone else and they've come back to work with me. And you know what, that's fine, but that's because I've maintained that relationship. Thanks so much for watching this Throwback Thursday. If you have enjoyed it, remember to hit the subscribe button and ding that bell. And until next time, to be sales-tastic.